In this video, we're going to list all the callbacks that Fallen Kingdom showed in the recent dinosaur film. These callbacks range from the first Jurassic Park to the second, maybe some of the third. Jurassic World has the I-Rex skeleton, which is more of a continuation from the last movie than a callback. For avid fans, you would have noticed these, and we'll try to keep them in order of appearance, and you might find some that you didn't notice. Starting off with number 1. The first scene of Fallen Kingdom featured our beloved Rexy. This scene consists of 2 callbacks in one, the Dennis Nedry Dilo scene combined with the T-Rex chase from the first movie, both really suspenseful and thrilling scenes. Rexy comes from out of the trees and roars, the same way she did when Ian was injured in the Jeep waiting for the others to return. She chased the guy and even moved something out of her way, and if you remember in the first movie she actually ran right through a log or a low-hanging branch. Both objects slowed her down slightly. The hurricane atmosphere is a callback to the storm having hit Isla Nublar in the first movie. The guy wearing the yellow coat was a callback to Dennis Nedry. He was also wearing a yellow coat in the storm as he was working on something. This guy in Fallen Kingdom was also working on something. As we saw the yellow-coated man, we could hear Dilophosaurus in the background trilling, which was almost the same scene recreated from the first movie. Number 2. The entire set of Owen and company running from and taking shelter from the Dino Stampede was basically the same scene shot from the same angle as the one from the first movie with Alan Grant and the kids, performing the same actions and movements as Alan Grant and the kids did from the first movie when the Gallimimus were spooked. However, instead of dinosaurs running from a predator, they were running from a natural disaster in Fallen Kingdom. Number 3. When Zia sees her first dinosaur, it happens to coincidentally be a Brachiosaurus, which was the first dinosaur that Alan, Grant, Ellie, and the lawyer laid their eyes on in the first movie, and Ian. There were oohs and ahs, and then later, running and screaming ensued. The way the Brachiosaurus walked slowly into the picture with the camera focusing on its legs and panning upwards to its long neck is very indicative of a callback to the Brachiosaurus' reveal in the first movie. The heart-rending moment when the Brachiosaurus is engulfed by the lava in Fallen Kingdom is also a callback to the first movie, albeit a very sad one. Number 4. Maisie found some dinosaur eggs in the hidden lab below her grandfather's mansion. Those eggs are a callback to the eggs Hammond showed the others in Jurassic Park, one of them revealed to be a velociraptor when it hatches. Those eggs were presumably other Indoraptors in the making and were simply meant to house them. And Indoraptors share DNA with raptors. Shortly after that, Maisie Lockwood looks at the blogs Owen made of his raptors. So that entire scene of her going through the lab was a callback. If you really want to be generous for Jurassic Park 3, it could be a callback to that movie as well if we consider Alan and the Kirbys and the others walking through the lab that they saw in Isla Sorna that was responsible for creating the monsters, or playing God as Alan put it, which is exactly what Mills and Dr. Wu did with the hybrid. Number 5. When Maisie Lockwood is backing up into the cage, this is a callback to Ellie in Jurassic Park, turning the power on, and then after having her back up against what looked like a cage door, feeling a hand drop on her shoulder, like the Indoraptor's arm. She discovers later that it's the arm of Mr. Arnold. Not looking where she's going, a velociraptor surprises her from behind, but the door serves as a barrier between them. Maisie was backing up to the cage in Fallen Kingdom, and we could see Ripper's arm reaching out for her, which was a callback to Arnold's arm dropping onto Ellie's shoulder, which was the same shoulder being the right. The Velociraptor in Jurassic Park roared and surprised Ellie, which is the same thing Ripper did to Maisie in Fallen Kingdom. Number 6. A callback to the Raptor kitchen scene is when Maisie was trying to close the door to the dumbwaiter or the manual elevator as Ripper was galloping full speed towards her. One of the Raptors did this to Lex in Jurassic Park 1 when she was unable to close the door to a cabinet she was hiding under. Both kids from each movie were little girls and had some form of a raptor chasing after them. Both of them were curled up in the same position in a tight space that was roughly the same size. Number 7. Another generous point for Jurassic Park 3 is Ripper playing dead to lure a human closer to him. One of the male velociraptors from Jurassic Park did the same thing in the lab scene right before it almost tore off Amanda Kirby's face. Unfortunately for the hunter in Jurassic World 2, Ripper did get what he wanted, and the hunter didn't get away. Clever boy. Number 8. Speaking of clever boy, Ripper being able to open doors was a callback to the Raptors learning to open doors in Jurassic Park. Number 9. One of the last scenes in Fallen Kingdom, when Rexy and the Carnotaurus tear Eli Mills in half, was a very sad callback to Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World. when the T-Rex parents tore Eddie in half. There was a stark contrast with these two scenes because in the Lost World, nobody wanted Eddie to die, and in Fallen Kingdom, no one cared if Eli Mills did. Number 10. When Franklin and Zia had to reboot the system. We were reminded of when the system had to be rebooted in Jurassic Park 1. Franklin, in this case, is supposed to be a contrast to Lex, a computer nerd who knows everything about computer systems that are designed to manage large imposing creatures but always ends up failing, and who also is scared to death of dinosaurs. Number 11. Another fun one is when Stiggy plowed through those people. This was a callback to the Brachiosaurus doing the same thing in Jurassic Park The Lost World in much the same situation. The good guys had sabotaged the money-making scheme, while the captured dinosaurs were freed. Stiggy was freed by the good guys who were sabotaging Eli Mills' plan to make money off the captured dinosaurs that later were freed also. Number 12. When Owen and the others were staring with the binoculars at what they discovered to be the bad guys, they saw them abusing the poor captured dinosaurs when they were taking them off of Isla Nublar. Number 13. And finally, the Pteranodons in the last scene were used in almost every Jurassic Park movie near the end. Don't know what we're talking about? Then you didn't stay after the credits. Why would you? The Jurassic Park movies never do that. Anyways, those were all the callbacks that we can remember. If we missed any, please let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.